Hello and welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma and today we are meeting in the studio for a couple of reasons. One, it is very cold outside and it's just more pleasant to have a little conversation with you before we get started in the studio. It's easier for me to spread out my seeds. I'm going to talk about seeds today, and then we're going to go outside and sow them. But I wanted to kind of explain my process here because I've never done this actually, and I'm excited to try it, but okay. There is construction going on across the street. It's very loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear sawing. I'm excited to do this process, but I'm very hesitant because I've never done it before and I'm just not sure if it's going to work in my environment. I follow a couple of YouTube channels and I can link them below. One in particular who kind of turned me on to cool season sowing. But she is over on the East Coast. She's in Pennsylvania. And she does this. She gets more rain than I do. She also gets colder winters than I do and hotter summers. But she has a short growing season and a lot of rain. So, where she is anyway. So I want to try it. I don't know. I'm worried that planting seeds now, they're just going to rot with the rain. So I'm going to try it with a whole bunch of different seeds, but I'm not going to put like all my seeds out there. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of deal. So I'm going to talk about what I am going to try. There's other flowers and vegetable crops and all these other things that you could grow, herbs, but I'm going to start with these and see how they go. I don't have a lot of success with certain flowers and vegetables because my season is so short. So in the springtime, rather, we often have very long springs that bring a lot of rain, and they stay really cool for a long time. So generally speaking, I can confidently put out seedlings like Memorial Day weekend, so which is the 1st of June basically. And then by mid-September, everything is totally done. We're getting cool nights and all my flowers and vegetables have slowed way down. And then we never get heat. So we rarely get like an 80-degree day. So we don't get these prolonged periods where I could like count on the seedlings being really small, have a lot of heat, they grow really big, and they produce their flower or their fruit. So there's just certain things that I just have a hard time growing, and I'm hoping that the cool flower method allows my little seeds to get a little seedling plant, grow their roots really strong over the winter, and then when it starts warming up in the spring, it can start growing, and then when it gets actually warm and dry, mostly in the summer, it can do its thing, and it's already been in the ground for many months. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we're gonna try it out. So I got some new seeds, and I have some seeds from last season that I'm gonna try. Seeds are good for years, actually, if you keep them out of heat and freezing temperatures. They'll just last and last and last. You'll just probably need to sow more of them to ensure that you have better success rate. But yeah, so I'm gonna go over the seeds I already have that I've tried growing and wherever they're gonna go, and then the seeds that I bought new this year and where they're gonna go, and then we'll get out in the garden and plant them. So the first seed I'm gonna go over is this kohlrabi, which is a vegetable, and it's very similar to like a cabbage slash bok choy, and I have not successfully grown these. The plants come up, but I can't get the bulb to form. So I'm hoping that this method will work for this plant. This is gonna go in our large raised bed in the theme garden. Most of these are gonna go in the theme, well, all of these are gonna go in the theme garden. I'm not gonna try them all over the garden because I wanna just kind of have a concentrated area, like, so I know where to look. Okay, so then we have some more vegetables, cool season vegetables, so I think that they would work maybe either way. I have a radish. It's the Easter egg blend from Botanical Interests. And then I have sticker notes. Direct sow. A couple of different beets that I want to try. This one's from Livingston, and this one is also from Botanical Interest. This is a blend with a bunch of different colors, and this is a really nice dark red one. This is bull's blood. It's really popular beet that a lot of companies carry. So we're going to try both of those. And then I have silver rib heirloom chard. This is from Renee's garden, and I have had success with these. They look beautiful in the garden, and I've only ever done them in the spring, so I'm going to try them in the fall and see how that goes. And then a couple of different kales. This one is the red Russian, and this one is the purple moon. This is from Fairy Morse, and this one's also from Renee's garden. So the beets and kale and radish and chard, I'm going to put all of those in the little raised rain barrel beds and see how they go. Then also from last year, I had Celine, which I had great success with. I actually started all of these in seed trays in like February-ish, and they were really leggy. So I'm going to try them a couple of different ways this year, now that I know how they grow. It's also called Blushing Lanterns. This is from Floret. Beautiful, beautiful flowers and seed heads. But for like fillers in your flower arrangements, gorgeous. But I want to try a few different ways. So I want to do the fall cool season sowing, spring direct sowing, and in seed trays again, but maybe pinch them now that I know how they grow, and I know they could be pinched a little bit to get them more bushy. We'll see what happens. So that's an experiment with the Celine. And then I have the polar bear zinnias, which I grew this year, and they didn't come up great. I did a whole row of them. I did a whole row of seedlings that looked beautiful, and I only got one blossom off of them, and most of them just the plant just didn't grow very well. I think that could be due to inconsistent water, which this coming spring we're going to be putting drip in to the raised bed, so hopefully that'll help a little bit. And then I did get some seedlings that I planted later in the year to bloom. I actually just cut my last bloom off of them like a week ago. So I'm going to see what happens if I plant some now, if I get earlier blooms. And those will go in our large raised bed. And then I have buttercream nasturtium that I saved. I should have brought the package in here. I didn't. It's like a creamy white nasturtium. Did fabulous this year. Actually kind of took over some spots. So I'm going to be really careful and just put like a couple of seeds in a couple of places. I just want to see what happens. I usually let my nasturtiums self-seed, so I know that they do overwinter and regrow, but I just want to see specifically when I plant them if it works. those will go in the raised bed. And then this will also go in the raised bed. This is Nigelia. And it is the black and white. I think it's called like African Bride or something. I'll put it on the screen to make sure. You can direct sow these in spring or fall. I did let them go to seed, but then I filled that bed up with new soil and compost. So I feel like I need to like fake nature a little bit and put some seeds back on the soil for them to come back. And then I will again put them in the spring. And this year I did both direct sow and seedlings. The direct sow definitely did better than seedlings. So we're gonna do that. Then the new seeds that I purchased for this coming season is a Black-Eyed Susan vine, and it is the White-Eyed Susie from Park Seed. And I've never grown them from seed. I usually buy them as a plant, so we'll see what happens with that. But I want to grow them and where I normally grow my peas. And I need to give that soil some like a break from growing fruit and, you know, like a vegetable. So, and then I've got a few different snapdragons. So I have Snapdragon Night and Day. It's a red and white snapdragon from Park Seed. And then Snapdragon Black Prince, which is a super dark, deep purple, also from Park Seed. And then from Johnny's Seeds, I got Madam Butterfly Ivory, which is a cutting flower snapdragon. Grows really, really long, tall stalks. And they're like a white ivory color. And then I have, and then my snapdragons, I want to grow them in pots, separate, like just have big, colorful pots. So that's what I'm hoping to do with those. The Classic Magic Centera, which is similar to a chicory. It looks like this flower. But the Classic Magic is like deep dark purples and whites and like a lavender color. I think maybe there's a pink in there too. I'm not sure where I want to plant these, but I do know that they grow, they do well with cool flower or cool season sowing. So I want to try it. The Pincushion Flower Snow Maiden, I have, or Scabiosa. I have the light blue flower one. Beautiful, does great. They overwinter, they're a perennial for me. So I wanted to try putting these out and see if they come up in the spring for me. So this one is Snow Maiden, it's white. Oops. And then I also got Black Knight from Johnny's, and it's dark purple. The Snow Maiden is from Floret, and the Black Knight is from Johnny's. And then I got a Ivory Princess Calendula, another creamy white color. This is going to go in the large raised bed. And then I got Oklahoma Ivory Zinnias, which is a little bit different than the polar bear. It's more of an ivory color. And then I have this sweet pea. This is Spencer Ice Cream, and it is a white sweet pea. Now, I have let sweet peas go to seed in my garden, and I didn't have them come back the next year, so I'm not really sure if this is going to work. So I'm only going to put like 4 seeds in the ground and or in a bed and just see if they come up. But I don't want to waste a bunch because I really want to grow this flower next year. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And it is, it's cool, but it's dry. It's been dry for a few days. And so I think it's going to be a great morning to get out there and sow these seeds. And I'm going to basically plant them in blocks so they're super easy to find and identify. I'll probably take like a chopstick and just draw lines in the soil and sprinkle some seed in there and cover it up. There's in the back of your seed packs, I'm not going to go through all of these, you guys. It's already been 15 minutes of me chatting about seeds, just telling you what I'm growing. So in the back of your seed packets, and Johnny's is super good with this, and most companies do an okay job, but Johnny's is just like very detailed. They will tell you how deep you need to grow your seed, what kind of watering they want, what kind of soil they want, what kind of sun they want, when to sow them, how deep to sow them, if they need a chill time, if they need to be stratified in any way, all those things. So of all these seeds, probably my sweet peas could be stratified. What I typically do with regular peas is I just put them in a bowl of warm water for like an hour. But that is when I do it in the spring. So the idea of doing it in the fall is it's going to experience that cold and warmth, expansion and contraction, and crack their seeds in a natural way. We'll see if that happens. I'm just going to direct sow them and see what happens. Everybody else, I think, is cool. We don't need to do anything special with them other than pay attention to how deep they want. Seeds are really small, so it's really hard to even like show them to you, but I will show you a beet seed just because they're kind of bigger, in case you're not familiar with growing at all. If you're on my channel because you love cemeteries and you're not really familiar with growing plants, this may surprise you. I don't know. But this is the size of a seed right there. You guys see this seed right there? So, and that is one of the bigger seeds. So showing you in the garden, like I'm growing this tiny seed is silly. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get out there and sow them. But typically a seed that size will get sown about 1/2 inch deep. And then the smaller they are, the shallower, the more shallow, the seed wants to be planted. And some seeds need sun to germinate, so you don't even put anything on top of them. So yeah, so I'm going to try all this, and hopefully the birds don't eat all the seeds because I don't have anything to protect the seeds from birds right now. So, which is something that I want to implement in the spring, because I think maybe that has something to do for sure with my sunflower seeds. But that's for another day. Let's go plant some seeds. All right, so the first seeds I'm going to plant in here are all my beets. And I think and the silver rib chard. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to do 3 lines and plant them because I just don't want to have to figure anything out. I've got this plant stake. It's perfect. Just go do a line here. I don't mind my maple dropping leaves on this because it acts as sort of a mulch, and protects these beds. Right, so I'm gonna do these ones. I'm gonna do the gourmet blend first. I don't have very many, so all right, and then I'm gonna do the bull's blood. And then I'm gonna do the chard. I'm not worried about how far apart I'm planting these, simply because I'll probably have to come in, and if they're successful, I'll have to come in and thin them anyways. So I'll worry about how far apart the plants want to be later on. All of these are a little bit old seed packets, so I'm doing it a little bit heavy of a sow, just to make sure that some come up, hopefully. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put just like 2 of the Spencer ice cream sweet peas right here. And actually, these are gonna get moved. So I think I'll put them in this corner, and I'll put 2 in that bed on the opposite corner, because these are actually going to get moved to behind here in just a couple of months. So, but they just look like, I just want to see if they'll overwinter, because I don't feel like they will, because my other sweet peas don't. They're just these little round pellets. Just gonna stick them in here. Let's see. Yes. Trying to remember how it's gonna go. Okay. Okay, so the next bed, I'm gonna do both kinds of kale and the kohlrabi. Kohlrabi wants to go 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 inch on the kales. So the kohlrabi gets quite large, so I'm gonna give her plenty of space. And really, this stick is about 1/4 inch, so I'm just gonna kind of like snug it in there. Let's get some even. And then these guys in there. Oh, let's see what they look like. Sorry about the construction noise going on. Neighbors are still getting the final pieces of their home built. Just giving both of those a 1/2 inch. So this is the purple moon. I want to put her in the back. And then we'll do the red Russian. And then we'll just slightly cover them up. Okay, let's keep going. So I realized that it's a little crazy. This pot has a lily, probably like 20 or 30, well, at least 30 tulip bulbs, and I think that's it. But these are the White-Eyed Susie, Black-Eyed Susan vine. I thought it would be really fun if they grew up those obelisks that we put in here every year. So, of course, those have been put away for the season, but still, I think that'll be really good. Okay. So, there's not a ton in here, so I'm really just gonna put like 2 in each corner of both of these square beds. And careful to not put them right in the corner, just because that's where the stakes go. All right, we'll do the other one next. Okay, so then the next thing that I'm gonna plant is this Nigelia, because I already had some right in this area, and I just want to reseed in that same space, hopefully. And these just need to be just barely on the surface, so I'm really just gonna rough up the surface a little bit. I'll put this over here so you can see. Okay, so I'm just gonna rough up the surface a little bit, like this. And then I'm just gonna take a pinch of these Nigelia seeds and sprinkle them around. They are so tiny. There's 2 right. Oh, it's so hard to show you. Okay, there's 2 right there. Super tiny. So then I'll just come over and just sort of kind of cover it up a little bit. See how it does. And then I have the buttercream nasturtium, and just because I want to see how specifically how they do, I'm just gonna put one over on this length of the bed and one on the opposite short end of the bed, just because, like, I don't want to, I know that they grow really good in the spring, so if they don't grow, I'd rather keep my seeds for spring. I did not have any nasturtiums on those ends of the bed last year, so that'll help me determine whether they were self-seeded in other places in the garden or what I just did. Okay, so then we have a couple of different zinnias. These are the ones that I tried last year. These are the new ones. And I'm just gonna basically put them in the same spots that I had the other ones, because I kind of like that idea. Maybe. Actually, I like the idea of color blocking them, so maybe I'll do one on one side and one on the other. Okay. So apparently, these ones want to be 1/2 inch deep, so we're gonna go with that. All right, so I had this broken pot here tipped over because it looks really cute, but this whole area is gonna get revamped when we build our new fence pretty soon. So just to help me remember what's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and use this pot for these pincushion flowers because these are my blue pincushion flowers that came with my house, and they just keep coming back every year. And I think I might have transplanted them into this bigger pot like 5 years ago when we moved here. So this might be like a spring project that I do. If we get these to come up, we'll put these in somewhere a little bit more permanent. But I'm really just trying it out for the season to see what happens. I'm not really worried about the fact that the soil doesn't come up all the way up here. It's broken right here, you can see. So these aren't the permanent placements, but I'm gonna use this pot for the winter and see if I can get them to come up. So I have the Black Knight Scabiosa from Johnny Seed. They only want to go in 1/4 inch, so I'm actually just going to plant them right on the surface, and then I'm going to put some compost. Just sprinkle a little bit of compost on top. And then this one is the Snow Maiden from Florette. Right, so then I'm just gonna sprinkle this guy with a little bit of compost right on top. Okay, so the next ones that I have is the Classic Magic Centera and the Ivory Princess Calendula, which I'm gonna put both of these in this large raised bed. I think I'm gonna put the Black Magic, or the Black Magic, Classic Magic, kind of right here in front of us. So I'll turn this around a little bit. So I put Nigelia right here, and then I have a line of zinnias. So I think I'm gonna put the Classic Magic like right here around this heuchera, and I'm gonna do it over on this end as well. And then if it works out, great. If it doesn't, I can try it again in the spring. But I kind of want them to be around all 4 corners. So in the spring, I'll put them on the other corner. I just kind of want these ones. This is also just 1/4 inch. So anyways, I just want this to be really accessible and easy to see from my house. My windows are right there. I could just look out here and see if this side of the bed is getting any little starts. And since this only wants 1/4 inch as well, I think I'm just gonna sprinkle some more compost on top of it just to give it something. Then the last one for this bed is going to be the Ivory Princess Calendula, which I'm going to put on basically this board, but on the other side. Okay, so this is the last container. I have just like a little black container out here, nothing in it. I did put compost on the bottom, potting soil, fresh potting soil, and then I'll top it off with compost. These are all my snapdragons. I'm gonna put them all in here together, and it'll just be a beautiful display, or, you know, or it won't. I don't know. If it doesn't work, then I don't have seeds all over the place to keep track of. So again, we have the Black Prince, the Night and Day, and the hybrid Madam Butterfly. So these want to be, this says direct seeding is not recommended. I don't know. Other people are doing their snapdragons. Well, we'll see what happens, I guess. A really teeny tiny All right, so basically what I did is I put all my veggies in these 2 beds along with a couple of sweet peas, and then past those bricks we have 1 little container full of scabiosa or pincushion, and then over here in the theme garden I planted zinnias and calendula and nasturtiums and Nagelia and Centera. And then in the little squares, I planted white, what is it? White-eyed Susie? Something like that. And that is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for gardening with me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some inspiration. And like I said, I'll link below the woman who inspired me to try this out this fall, and along with the book that she recommends. I do not have the book. I kind of just figured I'm going to play with this technique, and if it works in any way at all, then buying the book will be worth it for me to invest and learn more about this technique. But if I don't have any success, then I'm not going to waste my time, energy, or money on trying this out again. I like to garden very much, but I very, very much enjoy spending my time doing the things that I love. And if I know that the thing that I have to do to enjoy the flowers is a pain in my rear, I'm probably just not going to do it. So, you know, it's kind of cold, it's kind of dirty. All those things don't really bother me. It's the repetition and low success rates that's just not worth my time. It's kind of like survival of the fittest out here. I garden to be in my joy. And if the things that I'm doing in my garden are causing me frustration, they get out and I move on. So I suggest that's what you do too. Stay in your joy. Keep yourself happy. And until the next time, keep celebrating your life. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.